Hey everybody, Professor Malat. Here we are in week 12. It is going to go super fast. We have a couple of holidays in between now and the end of the semester. We have Veterans Day this week. And then in a couple of weeks, we have the Thanksgiving holiday. And then we are at the end of the semester. I say this just to prepare you mentally because it will go fast time and time again. I mean, I get to this point in the semester and I'm like, we're going to be done in just a matter of weeks. So I don't want you to panic. You still have plenty of time to make up any missed work. We have finals week as well, we can use to our advantage. So just because I have a cutoff date by this time doesn't mean you still don't have a little extra wiggle room there at the end of the semester. I like to get things done and over with as soon as classes are over. But I do realize that you, as busy people, taking online classes and working and juggling multiple things, um, having that extra week can really be helpful. So, that said, we're in week 12. We are digging deeper into our research unit. And this week we have the working thesis and works cited list. So I'm going to just take a look at that assignment and then I'll talk about a few of the resources that I have available. Hopefully this video won't be too long. So um, this week you're focusing on your working thesis statement as well as gathering 4 sources for this research essay. And your thesis statement should be answering the question, does technology make us happier, or something close to that? Now, I know previously I've been saying you can create a research question that is similar to that, focusing on aspects of technology that matter to you. So you want to make sure that it's not just a yes or no answer, right? Does technology make us happier? Yes or no? You want to say yes, it does make us happier. No, because, right? And give a few points or a few reasons why you have adopted that position. So that's the working thesis statement. It can change, right? Things, once we start writing and researching, we think we might have something, we want to pursue this avenue, and then suddenly that changes as we start reading and writing a little bit more. So the working thesis can change. It can adapt to the path that you're taking with your research. As far as the works cited requirements, only 4 sources, really not a whole lot. We've been working with sources already. I've provided you with some articles to help kind of spark some interest in you and set you on the path of thinking about technology and happiness and the various aspects of technology, as well as happiness, mental health, and that kind of stuff. So 4 sources, MLA format. You want to include all the necessary information for each source according to MLA guidelines. I'm not leaving you high and dry here. I've provided resources for you and lots of help. You want to make sure your corrections are in the right format. You have the correct kind of punctuation. You also want to make sure that it's alphabetized by the first word in each entry. Usually that's the author's last name. Sometimes it is the title of the article or the website that you're visiting, because sometimes you come across resources and there's no named author. This is something that I talk about in the video that I have linked in the module. I'll hop out of the assignment just for a moment and back into the module so you can see where on the page it appears. Down here, I have the attribution of sources lecture. I know it's long. It's like sitting through a class where I'm just showing a PowerPoint and droning on. I apologize for that, but it does have a lot of helpful information. You can speed up those videos as well as this one. They're all on YouTube, so you have that capacity to speed it up a bit, and you can skip through parts that might be a little bit dull or not applicable to what you want to find. So make sure that you review that and you understand the information. Of course, I have lots of resources here about thesis statements, works cited, using citation generators, using the library resources. We have the resources for does technology make us happier? And of course, there is the plagiarism module. I do recommend that you move through that plagiarism module so you understand what plagiarism is and how you can avoid being caught plagiarizing. And that includes AI. Even though this module doesn't have anything really specific on AI, hopefully I will adapt a page that I can add into that module that addresses AI, because that is increasingly becoming something that is quite problematic in our English department. So, why did I do that? The working thesis and works cited list. So we have some tips. You want to include a mix of source types. You know, if you have a book that is related, or articles, websites, images, videos, that kind of thing, that helps to demonstrate your breadth of research. You want to, of course, choose sources that directly support the focus of your paper and the arguments that you're trying to make. You also want to make sure that you can access the full text of each source. Sometimes you will see a link and it'll take you to a scholarly paper, but it only has the abstract. The abstract is simply a summary of the research that was done. So that's when you might have to go into the library database and hopefully get full access to the source. You want to make sure you're double checking all your information, the author names, titles, publication details, the URLs, especially if you're relying on a tool like Citation Machine or EasyBib, one of those citation generators, because it doesn't always get those citations correct. So by double checking all that information, go into the source, find the author's name, find the publication date if you can, that kind of thing. And then if you need to, you can go into the editing section. I have a video all about Citation Machine. You can go in and edit, change things so that your citation is correct. Excuse me. If you need help with specific citation formats, please provide details about the source type, whether it's a book, article, so on and so forth, and the available information, and I will help you to correct that citation. It's much better to provide at least some information than no information at all. And of course, you can use any of these citations that I've provided in the resources for Does Technology Make Us Happier? Hopefully you see what is being shared. Yes, right? Screen, yes, okay. so I have to double check sometimes. If I open up a PDF, sometimes you don't see it on the screen being shared, but I think because it's still within Canvas, we're in this document viewer, you can see the source. So again, you can just simply highlight, well, maybe not simply highlight, copy and paste. The source, right? It's hyperlinked within the document, so it might be difficult, at least in the document viewer. If you download the document, it should be a little bit easier. Sometimes it helps to go backwards, but no. Okay, it's being difficult for me. Anyway, you can lift, you can copy, whatever, the citations if you use that source. So I already have that ready-made list. It's probably 20 to 30 sources that you could choose from. Of course, you're free to use your own sources wherever you get them, you know, the library database or even Google. It's up to you. But of course, that means you have to know how to cite it. So I do provide some tips in that video about citation, where you can grab the citations from, especially in the library resources. And of course, you know, again, the caveat with those citation generators is that you do have to go in and sometimes correct some of the elements of citation. So that, I think, is pretty straightforward. I don't really need to dwell any longer on that. That is the only assignment for this week. It is due Sunday the 19th. And again, there are multiple resources that will help you, as well as some grammar review, mostly focusing on quotation marks. And if you take a look at those resources, it will become obvious why I actually chose that, why our quotation marks important in the week that we're doing citations, and we're excited. All right, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.